How's it going, everybody? The other day I asked on Gears of War's Reddit, what is your hottest Gears of War take? It can be your personal take or one that you've heard. And the answers we got, honestly, a lot of them weren't even like hot takes. Some of them weren't even takes, honestly. But starting off with a really hot one first. For multiplayer, down but not out shouldn't be skipped by any starting weapon, and in the execution mode, you should actually need to execute people. No skipping downs with instant kills. Since this is only talking about starting weapons, the only starting weapons that can skip down but not out are shotguns and bayonets. I think a Gears of War game where you can't impale somebody or cut them in half seems kinda lame. Also, I think if you're skilled enough to get in front of an enemy, I think you deserve that insta-gib. That's just my opinion though, but I really do think if you have the skill to bob and weave around bullets and shoot somebody with a shotgun point blank, you deserve that kill. Also, it's just fun as hell to do. Kinda bouncing off of that one, the Gnasher should be a pickup weapon and not on every map. You see, I kinda see the sentiment with this one, because it embraces Gears of War as a cover-based shooter again, without rushing states. But if you take the shotgun away, which is only really useful up close, I'm pretty sure people would just switch to something that kills fast from a far range, like a sniper or an M-bar, which, once people get good with, are very irritating weapons to deal with, especially because mid-range weapons like the Lancer or the Hammer Burst can't do crazy burst damage like the snipers can. People who complain about wall bouncing and people who complain about Lancers both need to shut up. The game does not need to be modified to fit your playstyle, but rather you need to adapt to your opponent, adapt or die. Depending on the case scenario, I agree with this one. The game doesn't need to adapt to your specific playstyle, sometimes you just need to adapt to the enemy. But in a case like Gears of War 5, where the Lancer is severely underpowered with almost no benefits to using it, I do think some buffs could be asked for. And I do think the game should offer multiple playstyles instead of just one. So if your specific playstyle isn't working, going for the only playstyle that works kinda gets boring, because if everybody's using the same playstyle, it just kinda gets stale. Swarm look and sound cooler than the Locust. They do need more monsters though, and I would love Swarm Cantus. Okay, I don't agree with this one. Not entirely. But there are some designs that I think are pretty cool, like the Pouncer. I think the Pouncer is really cool. But I think the reason the Locust are as menacing as they are just by design is because of their texture and their getup. Because looking at something that looks rock solid come at you in a full suit of armor is kind of scary. Also, with Ultimate Edition, Rom literally snaps somebody's neck with his hand, and I think that's sick. So they're also depicted a lot cooler than the Swarm. I don't really agree with it on the looks part and the sounds cooler part, but they really do need more monsters. They need more enemies. I think there's just multiple different types of drones, and then you have the Pouncers, and then you have the Snatchers. And I cannot think of another enemy off of the top of my head. Those guys with the little homing missiles that come out of their stomach. I don't know what they're called. But they do it. Like they're cool. They're kind of like Nemesists from the original series, I guess. Gears of War 4 and 5 aren't that bad. The story could have been better, but they certainly aren't terrible games. You know, I agree with this one. I shit on 4 and 5 day in, day out. I do not like their story. I don't like the characters. Some of the game modes that are brought to the series I don't really like. But 4 and 5 are full packages, no matter how you look at it. They don't really have any glitches. They look amazing. They play well. The balancing isn't really broken, so everybody can really have fun. They're super easy to pick up. I think Gears 4 and 5 are honestly, in terms of like video games, very well put together. But in terms of Gears of War games, I think the story could use so much work. And I think Coalition just kind of sucks, to be honest. They fucked my tomatoes up. You're never gonna have the good sauce again. Here's one that I really like. This is not a take. This is not a take. I don't think this is a take. The Cantus were 100% a native species to the Hollow. They built the buildings long before the Locusts joined them. Now, I never thought of this. The Cantus is my favorite Locust, and the connection they have with the Hollow seems a lot more rooted than the other Locust. The Cantus are literally monks, alright? They have the fucking Trinity of Worms. In this theory, they built all these fucking places like Nexus and shit, I'm assuming. That's a really cool fucking theory. It's already canon that some of the Locust troops, like the Wretches and the Bloodmounts and the Cerapedes, just aren't Locusts. They're just creatures of the Hollow. So I don't think it's really far-fetched to think that Cantus are also creatures of the Hollow, since according to some of these comments, you never actually see a Cantus in Niles' labs, which is completely fucking true. Which is true. This is so this is so cool to think about. I never thought about that. Overrun mode was the best form of multiplayer we've had. Now I agree with that. I made a whole video on that. Hey, how about you go watch that? All right. You know, I think it's a pretty good video. You can be the judge of that though. Lizzie Carmine should have lived. And on top of that, they should get rid of the all Carmines must die gag. Clayton will never die because of the fan vote. It's like a promise that must be kept. But yes, all Carmines don't need to die. I like this one because the first Carmine that TC introduced was literally the most meaningless character in the entire series. That's Gary Carmine. Gary Carmine showed up for a quarter of a mission, I think. I don't even think he was in a proper cutscene. We only know he's a Carmine because somebody said it. He's never really a character. He just kind of shows up and dies like on accident. Like he didn't do anything. And TC, that was just TC throwing in the Carmine dying gag. Lizzie was a cool example though, but for some reason they killed her too. I think we should just have another Carmine. Just have another Carmine. Bring him in. He doesn't have to die. But then again, I don't even think that's a really hot take. I think everybody wants a Carmine just to live. Okay, this one has 4 parts. Gears 5 is on the same level as Gears 1 through 3. The new trilogy characters are good. Gears of War Judgment was not that bad, and the Locust origins are interesting. Okay, so starting from the bottom, go to the top. The Locust origins are interesting. Okay. Gears of War Judgment was not that bad. Yeah, I don't think it was really that bad. I think it was very good. I think a lot of people like it now compared to when it first came out though. The new trilogy characters are good. This is where I have an issue. The new trilogy characters, I am only going to talk about Kate, JD, and Del right now. Because the other characters I either don't know much about or don't care enough about. JD is so insufferable. I hate him. Del is a watered down JD. He is not likable. He is so bland. He is player 2 in Gears of War 5, and he is the most meaningless character aside from Gary Carmine in Gears of War 4. JD does nothing. Nothing. He doesn't say anything cool. He doesn't say anything interesting. He's just another JD, but with even less character somehow. And Kate, she just whines. She's annoying. I hate her voice. She makes terrible jokes, honestly. JD got a chuckle out of me one time. Kate has never said anything that made me smile. She is very irritating of a character. Does not deserve to be the main character. And then Gears of War 5 is on the same level as Gears 1 through 3. I don't think so. I don't think you can compare 5 to 1 through 3 in any way. Because 1 through 3 are, I'm not going to say they're the best games ever made, but if you're talking about story, Gears of War 2 and 3 were so personal in terms of a story about Marcus and Dom, and then with Gears of War 3, Marcus and his father. And in Gears of War 1, it was just guys with guns. It wasn't really a super deep story. But Gears of War 5, I feel like their explanation for certain things, explaining the Locust was like, I don't think that was really a good thing to do. But nothing really happened in Gears of War 5. Like, Kate goes to New Hope, and then she goes to Vasgar, and then I'm like, JD dies, or Dell, whichever one you pick. I don't think things really happen. Like, she severs her connection with the Locust, I guess. Like nothing really happens in Gears of War 5. Nothing happens in Gears of War 4 either. That's why I put them very similar, close together, because nothing really happens in the game. I think I'll end it off with this one, honestly. This guy went off. And he even got some downvotes. That's crazy. Not many of these got downvotes on this fucking post. But this guy has -4. He has 4 downvotes. Holy shit. The story for Gears of War 4 was incredibly poor. A full... Huh? No, that's... I'm sorry. The story for Gears of War 4 was incredibly poor. A full dedicated story of a mainline Gears game to tell you that the Locusts are still alive and that Reyna/Kate are related to Mira. Nothing else. We get no significant lore of what happened post 3 other than, oh yeah, humanity rebuilt. No follow-up for anyone outside of Baird, Cole, and Marcus. And let's be honest, Baird, Sam, and Cole show up for 2 cutscenes. It's sad. It's not even a good game. JD, Dell, and Kate are poor replacements for characters we actually liked, and this game should have taken place 10 years after Gears of War 3, with Marcus and Delta as the main characters, who happened to come across Kate, and it goes from there. No JD, no forced new characters, no off-screen death for Anya, no fucking rock, paper, scissors to see who goes into the Start Cave first cutscene. We really just let TC get away with garbage like that? I'm sorry, but 4 is worse than Judgment, and I will never play that pile of garbage ever again. This might not be a hot take, but more people need to have their eyes open to how actually shit Gears of War 4 was and still is. No. Feel about this comment how you will. I agree with some parts. I disagree with other parts. Well, one of the main parts I disagree with is the no off-screen death for Anya. I understand Anya's like a main character and shit, but they've done things off-screen before, and then they encourage you to go read the book. So I don't think that's the worst case scenario. But I do think how finding Anya's grave, I'm pretty sure is like an Easter egg or side cutscene instead of a very main big cutscene that you're supposed to go through. I think that's kind of dumb, really dumb. I also think that the story of 4 is terrible, but other than that, I think that does it for this video. I got a couple other videos in the works right now. Sorry, I just haven't been working on them, but they'll be out soon. And thanks for watching.